Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday afternoon. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's okay and looking after themselves. Obviously, yesterday, Spurs losing at home 1-0 to Manchester City. A game of two halves is the way you would probably have to sum that game up. So we talk about the game. We talk about the Bissouma updates that we are having. Some Ange quotes. You know what we normally do after a review. You know what we normally do. So let's jump in. Let's talk about the game yesterday. So Spurs losing 1-0, like I have said. And I think there's a couple of things that I want to bring into this, which I'm struggling to understand certain Spurs fans. Afternoon, Sonia, Spurs and Steve. How are we all? The one thing I'm struggling to understand is we have fans that are upset about injuries. Okay. Look at our injuries. We've got injuries. We need this. We need that. Look at all this. Look at all that. And then once we get players back healthy, Ange then rotates and you get told, oh, he's dropping them. Oh, why is he dropping him? Why is he dropping that player? What is he dropping that guy for? And it's like, you cannot, I'm sorry, and this is going to sound really harsh. You cannot complain, as if you're one of these people, you cannot complain about injuries if you're complaining about rotation. I don't ever want to hear you complain. To keep players fit, you have to rotate them. They're not being dropped. Heung-Min Son yesterday was not dropped. Kulusevski was not dropped. Both of them have between them, 40 goal contributions this season? They're obviously not being dropped because they're poor players, right? Jed Spence hasn't been dropped. They're just being rotated. Spurs have still a lot to play for this season, okay? Yes, I completely then understand, well, Andy, but we play a game in a week's time. I get that. I do. But my point still stands. We have to rotate. You can't play the same 11 every single week. Now, at the moment, we're trying to manage Ben Davies' situation because he has a bit of an injury, but he could play through it. The idea is to not let him play through it and just get him right. That's more important. It's going to help you for the long run. And keeping these players fresher and fitter is going to help you for the long run. So, you know, if you are one of those people that complains about player being dropped, door's probably over there to you. Probably on your screen. Door's over there. Or there's a wall. Tell it there. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Was I happy with the team he selected? Probably not as such. But I wasn't shocked by some of the decisions, if I'm honest. I wasn't shocked by Johnson starting and Kulusevski on the bench. I wasn't shocked by Spence not starting. Obviously, I thought he would start at left back. I expected Porro to play. You also get a lot of people going, Porro's so crap defensively. Look what Doku did to him. And it was like, if you think one of our right backs that can play right back can handle the Doku switch, you are bananas. That is one of the most ridiculous moves ever. Now, what he does after that is a different story, but I've not seen a right back handle the shift. I haven't seen it. So, you know, people saying Porro is so crap defensively. It's just, you know, great keyboard warriors, aren't they? Twitter fans, eh? Miserable old beasts. And you know what? They wouldn't be saying anything about Porro's defensive work had our own attackers not been so useless in front of goal when he was whipping an absolute monster balls in. He could have had a few assists had we been a bit more at it in the box. And I think when you look at that game yesterday, we didn't miss Mickey van der Ven and Romero. And I'm going to come to the goal that we conceded because that is on the centre half, that goal. Dominic Solanke, Jesus, Richarlison, someone that in the box has a bit of a nous for, you know, actually being a bit of a poacher. They would have scored goals yesterday, and we should have scored goals. Afternoon XL, Stay, Ansley, don't know, football, DS, Jazz, how are we all? So look, let's talk about the game then. The goal that we conceded, obviously, 12 minutes in to Haaland. Really, for me, Danso's positioning for the goal wasn't great. He was too far high up. You know, it wasn't great. You could probably say a bit of Archie in there as well, but I'm not going to crucify him as much. Again, not a centre-back. But, you know, in the first half, City were miles the better team. Even in Dragon, mate, you're right. They were miles the better team. Much, much better. And that's to be expected when you look at, you know, Ederson's in goal. He cost them big money. Gavardio, 100 million. Diaz, 60 odd million. Kusanov, 40 odd million. Nunez, 60 million. Kovacic, 25. I don't know how much Gonzalez signed for. Mamouche, 75. Savinho, 35 or whatever. Doku's 60 odd. Haaland, something similar, but everyone knows that deal is expensive. I'm not surprised. We rotated. We had Odegaard and Tell up front. A couple of teenagers. We had a teenager in midfield. We had a teenager at centre half. Man City were missing. Well, they rotated Lewis. They had Ake on the bench. Defensively, they're missing Stones and Akanji. But, I mean, you play a centre-back at left-back. So, Rodri, obviously, we knew about long-term. But in reality, that was quite a strong Man City team they put out. But first half, we weren't at the races. Second half, we were the better team. I think we should have come out of that game with at least a draw. And on another day, that Saar header goes a bit differently. That Odegaard at the back post, he's a bit more awake and a bit more alive. And maybe that's just from a lack of game time that he's not been at that. But maybe actually having him a bit more sort of alert and having those sort of games minutes in his legs, he probably would have scored that. Maybe. We'll see. But another day, we would have scored a couple of goals in the second half. It was just, it was a frustrating game. There was a lot that we did so much so right, but in the attack, we lacked just that last little bit. We just lasted that last little bit, So it is what it is. Man City, losing to Man City is nothing to be ashamed about. It is still, whether you think they're a good team or bad team this season, they are still the champions of England. That is a fact. So, but look, it is what it is. There's a couple of things that I am annoyed about from this game, though. Is the referee was just shocking. Spurs had 3 less fouls and 3 more yellow cards. Man City committed 15 and no yellow cards. I mean, I know Man City get a lot of love and they do get some decisions going their way. It happens with most teams that have won titles and trophies. They normally do. It's nothing new. Man United for a long time had that. Chelsea for a long time had that. Liverpool now have that. You do get the benefit of doubt quite a lot on certain small decisions. I'm not saying like that should be a penalty. That shouldn't be a penalty. It's the little ones in midfield. Okay. The teams that have had success do normally seem to get those decisions. It doesn't excuse the fact you've lost a game. I'm just saying the referee was crap. I thought the midfield, for me, I thought Maddison struggled in terms of creativity. I don't think he had a bad game. I don't think that whatsoever. I thought the other two, Bentancur and Bergvall, had good games. Very good games, actually. I think Bentancur's growing into this season. And like I said, if he continues to grow into this season the way he's been playing, that new contract I have no issues with. Bergvall looks like an absolute rock star. Every week he seems to get better and better and better. And good performance from Bergvall. I thought the front three struggled a little bit, to be honest. And it's a shame, really. I think a lot of people went, Wilson Odegaard, that was your one chance to take Son's position from him. He's not going to take Son's position from him, right? He just isn't right this second. He's also just coming off surgery, a long time out. If you think Wilson Odegaard is going to be the Wilson Odegaard before he got injured, you're wrong. He still needs to get, a good few weeks into his legs and a good few weeks worth of confidence back into himself as well. He wasn't great, but that it is what it is. I can't expect them when players are had like Destiny Doggy. I saw people going, "Oh, Destiny looks tired. Destiny's this, Destiny's that," and it's like, "Oh my Jesus Christ! Do you ever stop complaining about certain things?" You're never going to make everyone happy in life. Everyone knows that. No matter what you do, you don't make everyone happy. But when we sat here with 12 injuries and we were all going, God, we'd be so much better if we had, rotation options. We then rotate and people complained. And it was like, well, what more do you want Ange to do? Do you want Ange to go out there and play out front? Do you want him not to miss those chances in front of goal? Is it him that needs to sit at centre half to, to be in position to stop the pass into Haaland for the goal? There's only so much a guy can do. I had no issues with the rotation yesterday. I had zero issues with it. I had no issues with Spence being rotated. I have no issues with Kulu being rotated or Son being rotated. They weren't dropped. They were rotated. Okay. There's too many people on Twitter with too much an opportunity to have a following saying, can't believe so-and-so got dropped. And you realize they have a following because obviously they say the most ridiculous things to get people to follow them for interactions and money. I guess I grew up in a different generation where you maybe just speak the truth. They haven't been dropped. They'll probably be back for the AZ Alkmaar game. But Kulusevski and Son this season have played a ton of football. Okay? A ton. Porro got rotated at the weekend, so he was fitter for this game. Those two didn't. They played a lot of football, so be it. Before that, though, they played a lot of football. And Ange probably looked at it and went, we'll give him 20, 30 minutes against City, but for the most part, they're going to get near enough 10 days rest ahead into a 2-week spell where you play 2 Premier League games and 2 Europa League games. And that is a really crucial part of our season. That early mid-March is a ridiculously crucial part of our season. A lot of times when we have played in Europe, we've underestimated teams like AZ Alkmaar. Now, we've beaten them this season. Okay, I get that. But we, in previous seasons, when we've been in Europe, we've underestimated certain teams and we've been punished for it. And that's not an Ange diss, by the way, or whatsoever. Because I think for the most part, this season, in Europe-wise, we were fine. We didn't really underestimate anyone or anything like that. But under previous managers, we've underestimated certain teams in knockout football, in terms of Europe knockout football, and we have been punished for it. So I have no issues with them wanting to take it seriously. The season's not over. Again, if you're one of those people saying, oh, he's sacking off the league, so he focused on the Europa League, and if you're one of those people that wants him to do that, by all means, enjoy yourself. I'm not interested in that. There's still, 11 games to play this season. I'm not sacking off the Premier League just for a 2-legged tie once a month. What's the point? Do you want players not to play in the Premier League for 3 weeks just to play in that one game? Because that's one way to get them out of form and to not play well for you. The Premier League still has a lot to play for. You play Fulham and Bournemouth in the next 2 games in the Premier League. I mean, our next Premier League game is the 9th of March. Okay, so it's a little while away now. Those next 2 games are against 2 teams that are above you. You win both those games, and you're in a different story. Right? So, Andy channeling his inner Aussie, do you ever stop and play with massive viral? Oh, honestly. Do you want some fries of that as well, do you? It's another Australian one for you. I don't care if Europe's our focus, but our league form is shocking, 14 feats and counting. Adiz, please go do your research for the last 3 months. Tell me, can you see an underlying theme for the last 3 months? And then let's talk about that theme, shall we? I think this version of Odegaard is better than pre-injury. He'll only get better. Yeah, I just mean sharpness. He needs to get better with sharpness. We had the chance to rotate with a fully fit squad. So, yeah, we rotated. Oh, you're welcome for a thumbs up, by the way. I was happy with the performance. Second half, we shot ourselves in the first half. Yeah, we look, second half, we were much better the first half, Another day, it could have been another dollar. Yeah, Man City could have scored a couple in the first half. They didn't. They won 1-0. That's all they cared about. They didn't give a crap if they won 4-3, 6-5, or whatever. They won 1-0. All they cared about was the 3 points. Off of the back of, a pretty tough few weeks. That's all they cared about was winning. The clean sheet's the absolute bonus, especially because defensively, that's the thing, defensively, they've been so poor recently, City, and we seem to really struggle with them for some reason. I don't know why. I've done that one. There's no way we can get top 8, as you told. I can't see Spurs winning our next 10 games. Okay. Come on, Andy. Tamworth and Coventry, we totally understated them. You mean underestimated them? And Excel, it doesn't really matter. Do you know why? We won. We won both of those games. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we play in the FA Cup after Tamworth? And did we play in the EFL Cup after Coventry? When I'm talking about underestimating in Europe, by the way, I'm talking about Europe, not Coventry and Tamworth. In previous seasons with previous managers, we've underestimated certain teams and we have been punished for it in Europe knockout football. I'm not talking about domestic cups, I'm talking about European cups. Because this is our first European knockout tie under Ange. We've had some under Poch, we had some under Conte, we had some under Mourinho. I mean, you think of that Conference League. Think of the Conference League we're in it. We completely underestimated the Conference League, and look what happened. We didn't even get through the group stages. Potentially the biggest team in that competition, we didn't get through the group stages. You think of, I mean, look, Conte domestically is very good. In Europe, he's not very good. Everyone knows that. He's had no success in Europe, really. He's a guy that gets you to the quarterfinals. That's really where his drop off is the quarters. We were crap over two legs against AC Milan. People always go, yeah, Romero got sent off. It was like, cool. So you just ignored like the hour and a half of football before that point, didn't you? I guess, with people, obviously it's agenda-driven based things. They don't like to admit, one of their favourites didn't play well and things like that. They like to hone in on someone they don't like so it makes them feel better. We weren't good enough over the two legs. We underestimated because AC Milan weren't as good at that point as they had been. Yeah, they were still decent, but they weren't as good. And we totally underestimated them. You think under Poch, the amount of times we used to underestimate teams in Europe all the time. People look at that Champions League form, but step that season aside. Well, yeah, we used to underestimate teams all the time. We think we're bigger than what we actually are when it comes to Europe. So when it comes to AZ on the 6th, go in there with a mindset of this is a team that can cause issues. They dealt with Galatasaray over two legs. Yeah, we lost to Galatasaray, but if you look at that game, we had rotated, we were down to 10 men, and with 10 men, we were better than Galatasaray. So, we need to be taking AZ seriously. I think that's what Ange is trying to get into the mindset of, we have to rotate in Premier League games as well as cup games. And we also have to take AZ out more seriously. You can't walk in there with 9 teenagers playing and thinking you're going to win. Berval's baller. Was the first half a mistake from Ange? No. He rotated. There's not a lot, in terms of difference, defensively being a bit more switched on would have helped. That probably would have helped. I just think first half, we didn't come out of the traps the way we should have done. City did. Second half, we came out of the traps the second half and we were much better. At least no one will care about our league form when they wrote. But anyone see the video behind Cunha's celebration against Bournemouth? Very hot one. I didn't see it. Did I see how livid Arteta was? I didn't. What was he livid about? We better finish the game in the first leg. Why? I don't understand why. There's two legs. Yeah, it'd be nice to win the first leg 8-0 so you can rotate, but it's not going to happen. The ability is to keep players sort of fresh because you've also got a game in 3 days' time after that against Bournemouth, which is still a really big game. Also, it's a good habit to use the squad you have, a better idea who to trade. Yeah, that's the thing as well. People go, I want to see Odegaard play. Okay, we show you Odegaard playing. Son's been dropped. It's like, what the hell? Like, what can you do? What can you do? We need to get minutes into our doggy's legs. Spencer's been dropped. No, it's not been dropped. He's been rotated. I cannot stress that R word, rotated. Why is it that at Manchester City, at Liverpool, Arsenal, when you think of like their defensive players and things like that, Chelsea, they rotate. We're going to keep players fit. We're going to rotate some players. At Man City, Bernardo Silva, you're going to be on the bench. We're going to get you going to get you rotated. We get Marmoush time in that midfield. Nathan Ake play a lot of football this season. Let's get you some rotated minutes onto the bench. We're going to bring in Kusanov. Rico Lewis, we're going to keep you semi-fit. We're going to get Nunez on at right back, rotated. Spurs, dropped. You've been dropped. Oh my God, you're the worst player in the world. Ange must hate you. You've been dropped. It's not dropped. Let's think like a big club, and big clubs rotate. And I don't care if you think Spurs are a big club or not. That's not the point. And if you think that's the point, you've completely misread everything that I've just said. Think like a big club, rotate. I had no issues with what Ange did yesterday. Maybe there's a couple of positions that I would have gone and maybe a bit differently with, but I had no issues because the mindset was let's rotate these players. We've got a big run to the end of the season now. We need to keep fit and keep healthy. Well, to do that, you need to rotate. And maybe it's not what you wanted to see. And maybe, you wanted Heung-Min Son to play centre back and Jed Spence to play striker and, Kulusevski to play left back. Maybe that's what you wanted. I guess maybe for me, I want them to be fitter and healthier, so they're going to be even better for the rest of the season. Maybe that's just a crazy idea. Maybe I'm the guy in the wrong here. Maybe. No manager in the world can make all Spurs fans happy. No, because we're miserable. Do you see Ange getting backed in the summer? Yes. The journalists were baiting him on saying he needs a striker. Well, of course, the idea is they want to nibble, because if he nibbles, they can get a viral post or a viral article and make money out of it. That's all the journalists do. That's all journalists do. That's why you don't really listen to many of them. For people that give like Ange Alistair Gold a lot of stick, doesn't bait the manager, does he? When you listen to how he asks a question, and the key thing is to listen to how the tone of the question is asked as well. Yeah, people like Alistair Gold, you can hear, don't bait Ange. There are people that are there weekly trying to get him to jump and bite on something. You can hear it all the time. They're not the people to listen to because they don't care. They care about themselves. They don't care about the club, Why rotate against City with a 10-day rest after? That's a poor decision from Ange. There you go. It's proven my point, has it not? Well, if we can scrounge out the Europa League, the haters will shut up for a while. No, they won't. They'll still be miserable. We should have won the quadruple this season. It's all Ange's fault. Get him out. Ange should try Poor at right wing. There's no other player in our squad who can play crosses like him. Yeah, but the reason he gets so much space to do those crosses is because he's playing at right back. And Johnson inverts in, or Kulu inverts in. And then Porro goes on the overload. Porro gets the cutback and whips in. Trust me, another day with a striker, Porro would have had a couple of assists and people wouldn't have been talking about Porro. Simple as that. It's important to keep the squad fresh, especially Spurs are in the latter stages of the Europa. Agreed. I feel bad for Ange to keep asking the same question over and over and report it different. Yeah, well, the idea is if you keep asking the same question to him over and over and over, he'll get annoyed, he'll say something he shouldn't say, or he'll regret. Therefore, they won the battle. They made their money because they can get something viral out there. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, enough of the game. We move on. I want to talk about a few things, actually. So we've talked about Bissouma. There is, by the looks of things, a situation that Bissouma will be moving on this summer. All things are pointing towards that as we speak. There's a bit of an update there on that. We all expect Bissouma to be moved on. I think Bergval's emergence over the last sort of 6 weeks to 2 months, I think has really put it into play that, Bentancur has overlapped and overtaken Bissouma at the 6 role, but Bergval has made the 8 role his own. He's overtaken Pape Matar Sarr. So I think that there's going to be a situation where, Bissouma will be moved on in regards to the summer, 1 year left on his deal. It makes sense. I want to talk about this, though, because we've been linked to him previously and there are reports surrounding him. I just want to bring up his stats so I can bring it in. Here we go, transfer market. Here we go. Okay. Right. Now, take a deep breath, because there's going to be a few of you that are going to get some PTSD about what I'm about to bring in. But the reason I bring it in is because we got linked to him a billion times over the last 2 years. We need to spend money on the world-class wing and supply the ball to the striker. Son's got 10 assists. Johnson had quite a lot of assists last season. Porro whips enough balls into the box from there. Madison, I don't think it's the winger as such that we need. The idea that we feel like we need wingers that, look at him, he can beat 3 guys off the dribble. It's like, that's not what we ask our wingers to do. So, it's not going to happen, is it? That doesn't fit what we're trying to do with our wingers. The reason why Johnson, Johnson got so much stick yesterday. It was like, cool. So only about 72 hours ago, the guy was absolute mustard and we're all happy to have him back. And then guess what? 72 hours later, he's crap. What does he offer us? He's rubbish. And it was like, oh my God, I forgot how miserable Spurs fans' lives must be that they literally turn on players every single day. It's just boring, isn't it? Edison first. I like Edison. It's not Bastoni. No, it's not as sexy as that. We touched on Man United. I was watching Man United YouTuber I like, and I got to thinking it's Garnacho an outside chance of summer break, given he's 20s. Garnacho's wage would end up being really high. He's been someone we've been linked to. I don't see it personally though, because for right wing, his finishing isn't good enough, so it wouldn't suit right wing. At left wing, I don't personally see it. I think Spurs are more so going to be if they're in a winger hunt. I think it'll be right wing. They're going to be hunting. Can't blame Terry. He's not going to supply from the wingers. I mean, Porro's putting in some pretty damn good balls. Like I said, if Solanke was on there yesterday, Solanke would have scored yesterday. Genuinely, just saying. And I like Tell. It's not a dig at Tell. He's still young and learning. He's still developing. He's still building up fitness. No, the reason why I'm saying brace yourself, PTSD. You ready? I'm bringing this in because Ekram Knorr has said that Conor Gallagher is attracting interest from Premier League clubs. The La Liga club may not be able to listen to offers below 50 million euros for the 25-year-old. Here you go. Get your screaming out. Get your annoyance out. The reason I bring it in is Ange wanted this guy. Ange wanted this guy in the summer. And all reporting is he was told, no, he's too expensive. Spurs will still be interested in him. Now, the irony is, he'd have been fit for this season. He would have played through our injury crisis. The irony of it all. If Kudus, Son, Spence plays early, we win. Okay. Yeah, I know. Here we go again. That's it. I'm bringing it in. I'm talking about it. I'd missed it. I'd missed talking about Connor. Connor, how you been, bud? I'd missed talking about you. I bring it in because, look, we're going to be interested. If he is going to get anywhere sort of to a point where clubs are going to be inquiring into him, Spurs will be a team inquiring into him for sure. They have been for a long time. Nothing will change on that, okay? Nothing will. So just get used to it. If it does appear again in the summer or over the next few months and I have to talk about it again, just know it's not shocking anymore. Okay. And then the last little bit is because a few of you have said this is a guy that I would like at if we were to get a defender in. Okay. And again, Ekram Knorr talking about the player who it might excite a few of you. It might excite a few of you. So this one's a bit better. Connor wages, probably 150 grand a week, I'd say, somewhere around there. Villa also chasing him. Morning, Dente. I'm all right. How are you, my friends? Get ready for this one. This one might make you a bit more excited, by the way, because there's a few of you that really like him. But Ekram Knorr saying again that Dutch international Jorel Hato continues to be on the transfer list of Serie A, La Liga and Premier League clubs. The Eredivisie club Ajax could receive offers of 40 to 50 million euros for Hato in the summer transfer window. So there you go. For the people that saying that we're interested, I would love to get him in. There is a situation where Spurs could be. They could be in for a Hato move. There you go. Jazz is already interested. I'll tell you who Hato is. He is 18. He's 19 in about a week's time. Contract expires in the summer of 2028. He can play centre back. He can play left back. This season, he's played 37 times at the age of 18, which is crazy. He's played over 3,100 minutes. He's played 37 times across the Eredivisie, the Europa League qualifying, and the Toto KMVB Becker. He has 3 goals and 7 assists. That his only goal he had 1 goal in the qualifying the Europa. In 20 Eredivisie games, he's got 2 goals and 7 assists, which is 1 in every 2. 1 in every 2, which is pretty impressive. I can't lie, from an 18-year-old. It won't be Hincapie. Hincapie always staying at Leverkusen. Front of goal is the mission, not the issue. We'll get a Slanky. We'll try and tell. Maybe Nishago. No offense, Jermaine Defoe. I'll take Gallagher over Guay if Chris Bass. Well, Guay is going to be someone that we're probably going to be talking about. Sesko, I think Arsenal will be sort of lurking. I feel like a Liverpool might lurk for a bit of Sesko. I feel like Liverpool could lurk for a Sesko. Won't be City. Chelsea could lurk for a Sesko. Will Man United? Don't know. But yeah, there we go. Versatile, great. Aren't Liverpool one of the Premier League clubs in Hato? That looks like a more obvious move for him. There's a lot of teams in for Hato. there is a lot of teams in for Hatta. Longley, Jesus Christ. Having a good season at Atletico Madrid. I will say that, though. Oh, Nico Paz. Okay, fair enough. They're lurking. Yeah, there'll be a few teams lurking for Sesko. I don't think Bayern will go for him because of Kane. I don't think Bayern will go for him because of Kane. So I think it's like one season too soon for him because they might do it like a season after. But with Kane being still the best striker in the world, it's like I don't think they'll do it. Plus, they've got some money. They're thinking ahead. With FFP and things like that. So that's why they need to move on from a Kingsley Coman. That's why I think they will try to move on from a Kingsley Coman. Sane will see about Goretzka. They tried to move on for Goretzka for a little while. I think they'll move off of Dyer this summer, and we'll see about the rest. But yeah, there'll be plenty of options in summer. No pun. Absolutely, in my opinion, when he's seen Rios from Palmeiras, yeah, there'll be some interest, no doubt, in him as well. But yeah, look, some really good stuff in there. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got to go walk a dog because the sun is out, and yesterday it was raining all day, and I want to walk him when it's sunny. But thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. Go enjoy the rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, wherever you are in the world, and I'll be back tomorrow. Speak a little bit more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves and speak to you then. Peace.